The delivery the night was cold. The air outside the military base was still, like something dangerous was about to happen. Inside the base, soldiers walked with heavy boots and quiet eyes. Everyone looked serious. Something was coming. Something. Strange. A spaceship landed slowly on the runway. It was not big, but it was important. Lights flashed red. 4 guards ran toward the ship and stood ready. The door opened with a soft hiss, and a man in black armor stepped out. "Package delivered," he said. His voice was dry like metal. General Vorn stepped forward. He was tall, angry-looking, and always ready for war. He nodded. 2 guards went inside the ship and came out with a cage. Inside the cage was a girl. She was small, maybe 16 or 17. Her skin was silver blue. Her eyes were large and glowing softly. Her white hair hung over her face. She looked tired, like she hadn't slept in days. Like she didn't care anymore. Soldiers whispered, "Is that the alien girl?" "Yes," another replied. "She's the one, the mind-bender. People said she could control minds, that she could feel emotions like a wave." Some said she was a weapon from an alien planet. Others said she was a mistake. General Vorn didn't care. He looked at her like she was a tool. "Bring him in," he ordered. The door opened again. Jox walked in. He was a soldier too, but different. His face was rough, but calm. His eyes had seen too much war. His body was strong, but his heart was tired. He didn't salute. He just stood there, looking at the cage. "This is your new mission," General Vorn said. "Take the girl. Use her powers. Train her. We need her for the next phase." Jox looked at the girl. She looked back, but weakly. Her hands were shaking. She didn't speak. "What if I say no?" Jox asked. "You won't," Vorn said. "You owe us. We saved your life." Jox didn't answer. He just looked at the girl again. Something in her eyes reminded him of something. A memory. Maybe pain. Later, the cage was loaded into his transport truck. 2 guards sat beside it, watching her closely. As the truck drove away, Jox said nothing. The guards kept talking. "She's not really alive, you know. She's a tool. A bomb. In pretty skin. She's just a thing." The girl said nothing. The truck stopped near a quiet mountain road. Jox turned and looked at the guards. "Get out," he said. "What? You heard me." "Are you serious?" Jox stared at them. His eyes were sharp, cold. The guards got out. Jox drove away now. It was just him and the alien girl. He stopped the truck near an old cabin in the woods. It was his home, far from the cities, far from war. No one came here? That's why he chose it. He opened the back of the truck and looked. At her, she was still inside the cage. He unlocked it. The girl didn't move. She stared at him, afraid. "You can come out," he said. "I won't hurt you." She didn't believe him at first. Why would she? Everyone had hurt her. But slowly she stepped out. She looked around. Trees, wind, stars, not a lab, not a cage. She looked back at him. Her lips trembled. "Why?" she whispered. It was the first time she spoke. Jox looked at her. "I don't know," he said honestly. "Maybe because you looked tired." She blinked. He turned and walked toward the cabin. He opened the door. "You coming?" he asked. She looked at the open door, then at the trees, then back at him. Slowly, she walked in. The room was old but warm. A bed, a table, some food on a shelf. A fire burned softly. JX pointed. "That bed's yours. Bathroom's over there. You hungry?" She nodded. He handed her bread and water. She ate like she hadn't eaten in days. He watched her, not with fear, not with hate, just watched. After a while, she spoke again. They called me it. Jocks nodded. I heard. They think I'm a monster. Are you? He asked. She looked at her hands. I don't know. Jocks leaned back. Well, until you figure it out, you're safe here. She looked up at him. Her eyes glowed slightly. Do I have a name? She asked. Jax thought for a moment. Do you want one? She nodded slowly, but he didn't give her one yet. Instead, he stood and walked to the door. He looked out at the stars. Behind him, the alien girl finally closed her eyes and slept without fear. For the first time, outside, the wind whispered through the trees. Inside, two lives began to change, and far away. General Vorn was already planning to get her back. Asterisk, the morning sun touched the edge of the cabin roof. Birds chirped in the trees. The world outside was peaceful, but inside, there was silence. Jocks sat at the small wooden table, drinking black coffee from a metal cup. He didn't look tired, but he wasn't fully awake either. His eyes kept glancing toward the bed across the room. She was still sleeping. The alien girl. Quiet, fragile, strange. She hadn't moved all night. She slept like someone who had never known rest before. Jocks didn't say anything. He just watched. A few minutes later, she opened her eyes slowly. For a second, she didn't remember where she was. Her hands moved toward the blanket, like she expected chains. But there were none. She looked around, cabin, bed, fire, not a cage. Not a lab. Then she saw him. Jocks, sitting, waiting. She sat up. Fast, her silver blue skin shining faintly in the light. You didn't leave, she said. I don't run, Jocks replied. She looked at the food on the table. Bread, eggs, water. He nodded. Toward it? Go ahead. She walked slowly. Every step was careful, like she thought the floor might disappear. She sat down across from him, picked up the bread. Ate quietly. Jocks watched her eat, but not with fear. More like curiosity. After a while, he spoke. You got a name? She stopped chewing. Her eyes went distant, like a window into some other world. They never gave me one, she said. Just numbers. Letters? Jocks nodded. Figures? She looked at him. Do I need one? Sipped his coffee. It helps. Silence again. Then, a soft sound. Her laugh, it was quiet, unsure, but real. You're not like them, she said. Who? The soldiers? The doctors? The ones with cold eyes. I've been like them, Jock said, not proud. But I'm tired now. She looked at her hands. Atiza's skin shimmered slightly, like liquid metal in the sun. Do you know what I am? She asked. No. Do you want to? Jocks leaned back in his chair. Only if you want to tell me. She blinked, surprised by the answer. For a moment, she said nothing. Then, softly, she spoke. My people were made, not born. We were created in a lab, grown in tanks, raised for war. Jocks didn't speak. He let her continue. We can feel. Things, not just our feelings, but others too. Thoughts, memories, pain, we can use that. Turn it into power. That's why they wanted you, Jock said. Double quotes, yes, they wanted to use me. Like a weapon, he looked at her carefully. Can you hurt me? Right now. She stared at him. Her eyes glowed slightly. Then, she shook her head. No, you're not afraid of me. You don't hate me. So I have no reason to. Jocks nodded once. Fair enough. She looked down. They took the others. My brothers, my sisters. I don't know if they're alive. We'll find out, one thing at a time. She looked up sharply. You would help me. Why not? I'm not human. Jock stood and walked to the window. He stared outside for a moment before answering. I've fought humans who were worse than monsters. And I've seen creatures with wings and claws who showed more kindness than any man. He turned back to her. Doesn't matter what you are. It matters who you are. She didn't know what to say. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A small surge. Jocks looked at her. You okay? She nodded, a little embarrassed. When I feel strong emotions, it affects the space around me. He raised an eyebrow. So you control power through feelings, in a way. He walked over to a shelf and pulled out an old book. He handed it to her. Try this. She looked confused. What is it? Old Earth book. Stories. Something calm for your mind. She took it carefully, as if it might vanish. Then she said something that surprised even herself. Can I stay here? Jocks nodded. That's why I brought you. She opened the book slowly, her fingers brushing over the pages. What should I call myself? She asked, eyes still on the paper. Jax thought for a moment. I'll call you. Ever name you. Choose for yourself. She smiled softly, maybe for the first time in her life. Someone had given her a choice, but far away, inside a dark control room. A red light blinked. General Vorn stared at the screen. Subject 17 is off the radar. The tracker's dead, a soldier said. Vorn clenched his jaw. Find her. And bring the traitor back in chains. Back in the cabin, the girl turned a page and whispered something under her breath. A name, but no one heard it. Yet. Rain tapped gently on the cabin roof. The fire inside was warm, but the world outside was cold and gray. Jock stood near the window, watching the woods. He was alert, but calm. Behind him, the alien girl sat cross-legged on the floor. A blanket. Wrapped around her shoulders, she had chosen a name now. Elari, though she hadn't told him yet. She whispered it to herself at night, like a secret prayer. She was learning. Every day, she tried to speak more English. She helped clean, cooked simple food, even tried to laugh. But something inside her was still locked away. Something big. Something even she didn't understand. One afternoon, something strange happened. Jocks had gone outside to chop wood. Elari stayed inside with the book. He had given her a collection of Earth stories. She loved stories. They didn't scream. They didn't chain her. They simply let her be. Then, outside, a loud sound cracked through the woods. A bird, a large forest hawk, had hit the cabin window. It dropped to the ground, broken and still. Its wing twisted, eyes glassy. Elari ran outside. She knelt by the bird, her hands trembling. No, she whispered. No more death. She didn't know why, but her heart ached for it. She placed her hands on the bird's chest, and then light. A soft glow spread from her palms. Gentle, pale blue. Warm, but not hot. The air grew still. The rain slowed. Like the world itself was watching. The bird's chest moved. Once, then again, its wing cracked back into place. The eyes blinked, and it flew. Right into the sky, leaving behind only wind and silence. JX had seen it from a distance. He didn't move for a long time. Later that night, he placed firewood near the cabin and walked in quietly. Elari was sitting near the fire. Her eyes were wide, but she didn't look afraid. He sat down across from her. You healed it? He said. She didn't answer. You brought something back to life, he continued. That's not small. Kayla looked into the fire. I didn't. Mean too. I just felt sadness, deep, and then it happened. Jocks was quiet for a moment. Is that your real power? She nodded, slowly. We were made to take pain, but also to return hope. And the army just wanted you as a weapon. They don't understand hope, she said. Only fear. Jocks stared at the fire with her. The flames danced between them. You're something else, Elari. She looked up. You said my name. He smiled slightly. Heard you say it in your sleep? She blushed faintly, her skin glowing silver blue. Then she asked, Are you afraid of me now? Jocks didn't speak right away. He stood up, walked to the door, and looked out into the dark woods. Finally, he said, No, I'm afraid of what others will do when they find out. Miles away, deep underground, General Vorn stood in a black room. Watching screens? Subject 17 has activated, a soldier said. Vorn's eyes narrowed. Confirmed? Yes, sir. Energy spike matched her DNA signature. Healing pulse. Where? Somewhere in Sector 3, still narrowing location. Vorn clenched his fists. Get the hunters ready. She's not alone. Back in the cabin. Ilari woke up in the middle of the night. Her head hurt. The air felt heavy. Something was wrong. She stepped outside. The forest was too quiet. Even the wind felt afraid. She closed her eyes and reached out, not with hands, but with her mind. Far away, she could feel something, metal, movement. Soldiers, they were coming. She ran back inside and shook Jocks awake. They found me, she said. They're coming. He was up in seconds. No questions, just action. He grabbed his old gear, armor, weapons, a map. We move before sunrise, he said. Ilari stared at him. Why are you doing this? Because they'll never stop. And because, he paused, because I believe in you now. She blinked. No one's ever said that to me. There's a first time for everything. As the two of them packed and prepared, the rain stopped. The stars came out above the trees. The moonlight touched the cabin one last time. Then they were gone, running into the unknown. One human, one alien girl, and a power inside her that could save or destroy. Everything. The forest was quiet again, but this time it felt wrong. Too quiet. Even the birds refused to sing. Jax and Ilari moved fast between the trees. It was still early morning. Fog rolled across the ground like a ghost trying to hide their path. Jocks carried a backpack with food, tools, and an old blaster. Ilari walked beside him, silent, alert. Her silver-blue skin shimmered faintly in the weak light. We'll stay off roads, Jock said. I know a place, an old rebel tunnel system from the war. No satellites can see inside. Ilari nodded. They're close. How close? She closed her eyes, focusing. Too close. Jocks tightened his grip on the blaster. He didn't like running. At this time, fighting wasn't the smart move. Not yet. They reached an old service station half buried under dirt and moss. It looked abandoned, broken windows, rusted walls, but Jocks knew better. He pulled aside a piece of metal, revealing a keypad under it. Still works? Ilari asked. Let's find out. He punched in a code. The ground shook slightly. A hidden door opened downward, revealing stairs covered in dust and shadows. They stepped inside, and the door closed behind them, far away. In a high-tech military command room, read lights blinked. Signal is gone again, the tech officer said. General? Warren didn't blink. She's using underground structures. We knew this was possible. He turned to a man standing near the wall. Young, nervous, wearing an old soldier's jacket. Your name is Captain Reese. You know Jocks personally, yes? Yes, sir. We fought together in the Mars Uprising. Then you'll find him. Use his past. Find his weakness. Reese swallowed hard. And when I find him, bring the girl. Vorn said coldly. Kill the traitor. Back in the tunnels. Jocks lit an old lantern. The warm yellow light touched the stone walls. Ilari looked around. What is this place? Old resistance base. Before we lost the war, few people even remember it. You were part of the resistance. For a time, before it fell apart. They sat near an old table. Ilari sipped water. Her hands were shaking slightly. "Are you okay?" Jox asked. She nodded. "It's not fear. It's noise. The closer they get, the louder it becomes. Not in my ears, in my mind. You can hear their thoughts. No, their emotions. Rage, obsession. It burns." Jox sighed. "We don't have much time." Hours passed. Ilari slept while Jox stood guard. Then, footsteps. Not many. Just one. Jax raised his weapon and pointed it at the tunnel entrance. A figure appeared from the dark. Hands raised. "Easy, Jox. It's me." Jox narrowed his eyes. "Rhys." The man smiled. "Been a while. What the hell are you doing here? I tracked you, alone. No unit. I just needed to see for myself." Jox didn't lower his weapon. "See what?" "The alien girl. The rumors are everywhere. They say you're protecting her." Ilari woke up and stood behind Jox, watching quietly. Rhys saw her. His eyes widened. "So it's true." Jox didn't blink. "You shouldn't be here." "I'm not here to fight," Rhys said. "I remember who you were. You saved lives, Jox. You believed in things. Okay. Now you're hiding underground. Running. With an alien child, she's not a child. And she's not a weapon. Then what is she? A person. Just like you. Just like me." Rhys looked at Ilari. She looked back, her glowing eyes calm but unreadable. "I can help you," Rhys said. "Get her to safety. I know places off-grid. Old allies." Jox hesitated. "You trust him?" Ilari asked softly. Jox didn't answer. Not yet. Later that night, as they rested deeper in the tunnels, Rhys stepped outside to check the perimeter. "You?" Reached into his coat and activated a small, silent communicator. "This is Rhys," he whispered. "I've located them, sending coordinates." A voice replied. "Good work. Do not engage. Extraction team en route." He turned it off and walked back. But Ilari was waiting. "I felt it," she said. Rhys froze. "What? Your guilt. Your lies. They stink like smoke in the wind." Jox appeared behind him, weapon raised. "I wanted to believe you," Jox said. "But I've seen that look before. You weren't here to help." Rhys looked desperate. "I had no choice. They threatened my family." "Everyone always has a choice," Jox said quietly. Rhys raised his hands. "Please, let me walk away. I won't stop you." But Ilari shook her head. "They're already coming." Above ground, helicopters cut through the night sky. Soldiers in black armor dropped through ropes. Searchlights turned the forest white. Inside the tunnel, Jox grabbed Ilari's hand. "We move. Now." "What about him?" she asked, nodding at Rhys. Jax didn't answer. He turned and led her deeper into the darkness. Behind them, Rhys stood frozen, caught between guilt and duty. Then the explosion started. The entrance to the tunnel collapsed. In fire and stone. Underground, in the forgotten tunnels. The hunt had begun. But this time, Jox wasn't just protecting a girl. He was protecting something more powerful than any weapon. A life that still believed in hope. The tunnel stretched deep under the earth, quiet and cold like a grave. Dust floated in the air. Every step echoed like a warning. Jox held a flashlight, sweeping it across the old walls. Pipes creaked. Rust dripped. His jaw was tight. He didn't speak much now. His mind was focused on one thing, keeping Ilari alive. She walked beside him, her steps light, silent. But something had changed in her eyes. They no longer held just fear. Now, there was purpose. "Where are we going?" she asked softly. "There's someone down here," Jox said. "Someone who knows the old systems. If anyone can get us out without being seen, It's him. Ellery raised an eyebrow. A friend. Jocks answered, but not an enemy either. They reached an old metal door with faded markings. Jocks knocked 3 times, then once more. A small panel slid open. 2 eyes stared back at them. Still breathing. Jocks? The voice behind the door growled. Barely, Jocks said. Let us in. The door creaked open. Inside was a small room, lit by yellow lamps. Old computers buzzed. Maps covered the walls. A man with gray hair and a long coat leaned on a table. His face was hard, like stone that had seen fire. Ellery Jocks said, "This is Dr. Kaiser." Ellery stepped forward, and Kaiser's eyes widened. "You brought her here?" he asked, voice low. "She needs help," Jocks said. "And I know you still owe me." Kaiser walked around Ellery slowly, studying her. "She's one of the last." He muttered, "I thought they were all gone." "I'm not gone," Ellery said. Kaiser looked surprised. "You speak clearly now. I'm learning," she said. "Faster than they expected." He nodded. "Of course, your kind always did." Jocks sat down. "Start talking. What do you know about her people?" Kaiser sighed. "They weren't just made for war." "That's the lie the military told everyone." "The truth is worse, or maybe better, depending on how you see it." He looked at Ellery. "Your people were created to fix the galaxy." Ellery's eyes widened. "Fix? How?" "Emotion link," Kaiser said. "You can feel pain, yes? But also peace. Hope you weren't meant to fight. We were made to heal, not just bodies, but minds." Jocks leaned forward. "Then why did they use them as weapons?" "Because humans fear what they don't control," Kaiser said. "And your power, Ellery, it can't be caged forever." She looked down. "I tried. I let them." "No," Jocks said firmly. "You survived." "That's not weakness." Ellery raised her head slowly. "Then let's finish what they started." Kaiser blinked. "What do you mean?" "I want to find others like me, if any survived." Kaiser walked to the map and pointed. "There is one place. A colony outside Earth's radar. I once helped send a few prototypes there before the shutdown. If any of your kind still live, they're hiding there." "Then take us," Jocks said. Kaiser shook his head. "Too risky. Military eyes are everywhere. Satellites, drones. You'll be caught before you leave the surface." Jocks stood. "Then we go under it." Kaiser led them through a hidden passage inside the tunnel base. It opened into a railcard system, old, silent, but still intact. "These rails were used to move weapons," Kaiser explained. "But I converted some of them for emergency travel. You'll pop out 3 zones west. From there, you can reach the old spaceport." Jocks narrowed his eyes. "That place is crawling with scanners." "I'll disable them for 10 minutes, Kaiser said. "That's all I can give you." Ellery stepped forward. 10 minutes will be enough." They loaded the cart. It creaked as it moved, rolling into darkness as they disappeared down the tunnel. Kaiser stood alone in the silence. He touched his communicator. "They're heading to the old port. You'll have 1 shot." High above, inside a dark military dropship. General Vorn listened. "Let them go," he said. "Sir." The pilot asked, "Let them think they're escaping. I want to see where the girl leads us." His lips curled into a cruel smile. Back in the cart, Jocks and Ellery sat close as wind rushed past them. The tunnel lights flashed like ghosts of the past. "You okay?" he asked. Ellery nodded. "I feel something." "What?" "Others. Far away. Weak, but alive? You're sure?" "Yes, I feel them calling. Like dreams waiting to be remembered." Jocks looked at her, then ahead into the darkness. "Then we're going to bring them home." She placed her hand on his. not with power. Just warmth, and for the first time, they both believed in the same thing. The escape wasn't just from danger. It was toward something greater. Asterisk, the old rail cart screeched to a stop. Sparks flew as the brakes groaned. The tunnel ahead ended in darkness, but just beyond that freedom, Jocks jumped out first. His boots landed in dust. He checked both sides. Empty, silent. Ellery followed, stepping lightly. Her silver-blue skin shimmered under the tunnel lights. Her eyes, always glowing, were now sharper. Focused. "This is it," Jock said. One tunnel up. We hit the edge of the old spaceport. Ellery looked up. "I feel something's wrong." Jocks raised his weapon. Then we moved carefully. They walked through the last passage. Every step echoed. The light above flickered. When they reached the steel door leading to the surface, Jocks stopped. He placed his hand on the scanner. Beep. Access granted. The door slid open, and all hell broke. Loose bright lights hit them instantly. Sirens blared. Drones buzzed overhead. They were surrounded. Black-armored soldiers stood in a circle, rifles raised. Laser sights lit up Jocks's chest, and standing in the middle of them, calm as ice, General Vorn. He didn't smile. He didn't need to. "You did well, Jocks," he said. "Let us right to her." Jock stepped in front of Ellery, shielding her. "Let her go. She's not a weapon." "No," Vorn said. "She's the weapon." He raised a hand. The soldiers closed in. "Don't do this," Ellery said. Her voice was quiet, but the ground under her feet trembled. Vorn looked amused. "Or what? You'll cry at us." That was his last joke, because the next second, the air snapped. Boom! A pulse shot out from Ellery's chest. Not fire, not force, but feeling. It hit like a wave of memory, sorrow, and fear. Soldiers stumbled. Some dropped their guns. One man fell to his knees, crying. Another ran back screaming. Only Vorn stayed standing. "You think you scare me?" he growled. "You're just a broken experiment." Ellery stepped forward. "No, I'm more." Her eyes blazed. Vorn raised his weapon. Jock shouted, "Ellery, don't." But it was too late. She lifted her hands, and then she stopped. Her fingers lowered. Her face softened. "I won't become what they made me," she said. She turned her hand toward the nearest soldier, the one still crying, paralyzed by pain, and then she did something no one expected. She healed him. Light flowed from her hands again, gentle, soft, forgiving. The soldier stopped crying. His eyes cleared. He looked at her with awe, not fear. "I'm not here to destroy," she whispered. "I'm here to fix what you broke." The wind grew quiet. Even the drones hovered, unsure. General Vorn aimed at her head. "Enough of this." He fired. Jocks jumped. The shot hit him. He fell to the ground, bleeding. Ellery screamed. The sound wasn't human. It was grief. It shook the ground, but she didn't attack. Instead, she ran to Jocks, held him close. "You promised," she cried. "You promised you wouldn't leave me." Jocks coughed. "Still here. Just hurts like hell." She pressed her glowing hands to his chest. The light covered the wound. JX gasped. Air filled his lungs. She had saved him again. This time, with love, not power. General Vorn stepped back. "Kill them both." But the soldiers didn't move. One by one, they lowered their weapons. "She saved me," one said. "She's not the enemy," said another. Vorn screamed. "She's controlling you." "No," the first soldier said. "She's freeing us." Ellery stood up slowly, eyes on Vorn. "You had your chance," she said, "but you chose fear." He fired again, But his gun clicked. Empty. No more bullets, no more orders, no more orders. Only silence. Vorn tried to run, but the soldiers surrounded him now. Later, the sun rose over the broken port. Jack sat on a crate, holding his side. "You okay?" Alari asked. "I've been worse." She smiled. The soldiers, now former soldiers, helped each other around the wreckage. Some had tears in their eyes. Some laughed. Some just stood quietly, unsure of what had changed. But knowing something had, you didn't fight them. Jock said. "I didn't have to," Alari replied. "I just showed them who they really were." He nodded. "That's more powerful than any weapon." They looked up at the sky. One ship stood ready, not a warship. Just a scout transport, enough to take them far. "Are you sure about this?" Jock asked. "Yes," Alari said. "There are others like me. I can feel them. They need to know. They're not alone, and you." Jock asked, "What do you need?" She looked at him, smiled softly. "I already found it." The stars blinked like quiet eyes in the sky. The small ship floated through the black, silent ocean of space. Inside, Alari stood near the front window, her hands resting gently on the glass. She had never seen the stars like this before. Peaceful, still, not filled with danger. Beside her, Jox sat in the pilot's chair. One arm was bandaged. The other held a cup of bitter ship-brewed coffee. "So," he said, breaking the silence, "where are we going again?" Alari smiled softly. "Not far now. I feel them. They're close." Jox looked at her. "You sure they'll remember you?" "They don't need to," she said. "They'll feel me, just like I feel them." Jox gave a tired nod. "Long as they don't shoot us out of the sky." Alari touched the window, her voice quiet. "They're not soldiers. Not anymore." The planet came into view an hour later, small, green, hidden behind a dead moon. It didn't look like much. No cities. No noise, just forest, water, and light too. Most people it would seem empty, but Alari knew better as the ship entered. The atmosphere, she closed her eyes. She felt them hearts, minds, fear. But also hope, dozens, maybe more. Her people, they landed in a quiet clearing. Jax opened the door, gun on his belt, not out of fear, just habit. Alari stepped forward first. Nothing. Moved, then whispers. Shadows appeared from the trees. Not animals, not enemies. People like Alari. Blue silver skin. Soft glowing eyes. Quiet cautious steps. They surrounded her, not with weapons, but with wonder. One child stepped forward and touched Alari's hand. "You're real," the child whispered. Alari nodded, her voice gentle. "So are you." An older woman approached. Her eyes carried years of hiding, pain, silence. "You escaped?" the woman asked. Alari turned and nodded. Toward Jox. "We escaped." The woman looked at Jox. "You're human." He gave a small shrug. "Technically." "You brought her here." "I just followed her light," he said, almost embarrassed. The woman smiled for the first time in years. The days that followed felt like dreams. Jock stayed near the ship, helping fix old machines, building things for the village. Solar panels, clean water lines, shelters. But Alari? She became something more. She sat with the children, helped them feel safe again. Showed them how to calm their gifts, not fear them. She taught them what Jox had taught her. You are not weapons. You are people. One evening, under a red sunset, Sky Alari sat beside Jox near a small fire. "They want me to stay," she said. Jox nodded. "I think I'm supposed to," she added. "Not because I'm strong, but because I understand both sides now." He looked at her. "You're the bridge between what we were and what we could be." She looked down at the fire. "And you?" "I never planned this far ahead." smiled. Maybe. You don't need to leave. He raised an eyebrow. Live here with star children who can read my emotions. They like you, she said. Even the ones who pretend not to. Jocks looked into the forest calm, deep, alive. He had seen too much war, lost too many things. But here, maybe there was something worth staying for. I'll think about it, he said. Ilari nodded, but in her heart, she already knew the answer. Far away, on Earth, General Vorn was gone. His programs shut down. Soldiers who once followed orders now questioned everything. Some even searched for the truth about Ilari, about the others. A message had spread through the galaxy. It was not sent through power. Not through force, just a simple signal. She didn't destroy us. She healed us. Months later, a new ship landed on Ilari's planet. A scientist stepped out, holding a white flag. Behind him, a few peaceful diplomats. We came to listen, he said, not to take. Ilari met them at the edge of the trees. Her people stood behind her, not as weapons, but as a family. She looked at the human visitors and said just one thing. You had your time. Now, let us have ours. That night, under a sky filled with stars, Jock stood beside Ilari as the children danced under glowing trees. They finally found a home, he said. Ilari turned to him. So did you. He didn't argue. He didn't have to. Everyone expected him to use the alien girl. But instead, he gave her a home, and in doing so, he found his own.